Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome in. I'm Jay Zawaski with Mario Tirabassi. We're at home. We're cozy. I'm a little cozier than Mario. He's all bundled up in his closet. But Greg Boysen, the bravest of the three of us, he is at the United Center and will join us after Luke Richardson and company meet the media on a victory Friday night heading in to the Christmas break. Hawks win 5-2 over the Blue Jackets. Patrick Kane scores a goal, and everybody's happy. So, well, yeah, we'll see. We're going to ask you that whole question today. Are you happy with a win over a tanking opponent? Yes or no? Let us know in the chat on YouTube. Vote in that poll, and we will update it as we go on with the show. But I think most people, Mario, and I think you and I can agree, it's just really nice to have a different thing to talk about and to head into an extended break here. They're off Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with a win, and it's got to feel great for those guys. Monkey off the back for Kane. A good overall, I don't want to say dominant win, but pretty, I would say, as far as Hawks wins go, pretty dominant. It's just got to be a great feeling as they head into the Christmas break here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at this team, 8-game losing streak. Like it's the bleakest of bleak seasons that this could be for this team right now. Playing out to plan for what it's supposed to be. But every now and then, God, you need a game like this. And scoring the first goal, second goal, third goal, and fourth goals of the game. Like, just the last on Wednesday, we talked about how frustrating it was to watch that game where Patrick Kane specifically was doing so much to create his own offense, to set up other teammates, and just nothing was working. And you saw the frustration that he had after the game, snapping his stick over the bench as he left the ice. And he comes out and scores the game's first goal, sets up Max Domi for the second goal, who was a culprit of the missed opportunities that Kane set up on Wednesday night. This is a result that this team absolutely needed.
Yeah.
And to go into the Christmas break, the holiday break, and get this kind of win. And then when they come back from the break, they finish the calendar year of 2022 with 3 road games. So it's good to head into a road trip with this kind of result, especially over a team that you're going to see in a couple of days. In just over a week, they'll play the Blue Jackets again on what's that? That's New Year's Eve, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the New Year's Eve game that got pushed to noon. Thank you, schedule makers.
Yes.
And one thing too with this win, it was released earlier today. I don't know how many people have seen it. I don't know if you, Jay, were able to watch it, but the Blackhawks doing their, kind of behind the scenes documentary style little series. The second episode came out today, and I believe it was titled Reality Check. And it was all about how the team was super bad. It followed them as they went on their road trip, which was earlier this season or earlier this month, where they got their last win before tonight against the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. And you could just see, from the shots of the locker room, the interviews with Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews and Seth Jones, you just get this added level of like insight to how much the losing really affects these guys. And really, you outside of them talking to the media, or you seeing them at practice, seeing them actually in the room in intermissions, seeing them on, in-game audio and interviews specifically for this feature, you see how much, candidly they talk about how the losing is impacting them. And so I watched that today, and I saw that to a different degree than we've actually been able to see this season so far. So getting a win like that after seeing that episode is just like, it just means that I think it just means that much more to these guys, that this is the kind of result that can help the team loosen up. And I think we saw that with them scoring the first goal of the game. They were just more loose. They didn't have to chase the game. It was a completely different game that they could play.
I think it's especially meaningful too that Patrick Kane's the guy that scores the goal, because he had been fighting, and look, like, he's played well. He's really You mentioned it, the game against Nashville, the game before that. Like it's right there for him. And you could feel that, okay, maybe if he gets one, they're going to start piling up. And they talked to Patrick Kane's sister during the intermission. And she's like, can you score a hat trick for us tonight? And Patrick Kane basically said, look, I've had enough trouble scoring one. You're asking a bit much of me, but I'll see what I can do. But you saw when he scored that goal, it was not celebration. It was relief.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, oh, thank God it finally went in for me and I can stop thinking about it and start scoring again. Yeah, I mean, just all around a good night. And I know it's Festivus and I know it's typically reserved for the airing of grievances, but guess what? We're not doing it tonight because they won a freaking game. We've got a bunch of other games this year we're going to be able to air our grievances. So we're going to be mostly positive in this one. Yeah, we've got to get to Boris Kachuk and his antics as well. But as we do after a lot of Hawks wins, we're seeing a bunch of new names here in the chat, which we appreciate. Please be sure, if you're watching on YouTube, to subscribe and smash that like button. You can do it right now. It takes 3 seconds. Think of it as a goodwill gesture for us the day before or 2 days before Christmas. We call this Christmas Adam. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve, so today's Christmas Adam.
Nice.
So smash that like button, subscribe. If you're listening on the podcast app, make sure you subscribed or following us. Depending on where you get your podcast. I know that CHGO in general is like somewhere around 200 people away from hitting 23,000 YouTube subscribers, and that's since March, which is absolutely incredible. So thank you, everybody, for your support. And the more people that can hit that subscribe button tonight, the better. We would greatly, greatly appreciate that. And, of course, that like button does huge stuff in terms of visibility for us here.
Yeah.
At CHGO. And we want to thank Brandon Sikora for his $2 super chat. He says, nice win. Merry Christmas to everyone. You too, Brandon. Brandon's a guy who's in with us every damn game. And we appreciate the loyal people. We appreciate the new people. And I think you'll find that the chat here at CHGO is a very welcoming place, unless you're a pudwack. And then it's not so welcoming, but that's fine. It is a self-policed chat. And we appreciate that. So
yes, absolutely.
I saw we had a comment from Shep in the chat saying it just feels good to get a win, and it's absolutely true. It's just I'm sitting on the couch watching the game with my wife, and it's 1-0, it's 2-0, it's 3-0, it's 4-0, and I'm just like, I feel like maybe can relax a little bit now, but
yeah,
you never know. You just never know with this team that. And you felt for a while that second period, Columbus started turning it on and getting their chances and getting their looks. And man, I'm just so glad they held on and got another goal late, to seal it with Toews scoring on the power play. It's just all in all, it's a positive night. And I just hope it stays that way.
Yeah. And that's something that I was trying to not let as Jonathan Toews says, not let the bad thoughts creep in.
Yeah.
Midway through the game, they're up 4-0, and then all of a sudden it just seems like Columbus flipped it on its head after being outshot something like 20-6 or 20-5 to start the game. I think the shots going into like midway through the third period or something was like 21-3 for the Blue Jackets, and they made it a 4-2 game. And I was really starting to be like, can you not blow a 4-0 lead, please? Can you just not do that tonight? Like not tonight, like but yeah,
one of those, don't worry.
Oh yeah, they've had those this season.
Yeah,
did they blow a 5-1 lead earlier this year or 4-1 lead, something like that? I don't know.
Sounds right.
Yeah, but yeah, it was nice to see that they were able to, in a win like this, they didn't have to just hold on by the smallest thread to get the win. They were actually able to go out, score the last goal of the game on the power play. A great setup for Jonathan Toews on the power play, his team leading 11th goal of the season. And that was just a good way to close it out. It didn't have to be a sweated out, oh no, let the nerves settle in. They were able to, finish the game on a high note. And I think that's a really good way to close out this kind of game, this kind of result into this kind of break.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get to our 4 stars of the night. We're going to get our king of the game and everything when Greg joins us from the United Center. But let's focus on a couple individual performances. Alex Stalock making his first start since being injured on November 1st, and just loved his game tonight. Not only was he strong in net, stopping 27 of 29 Columbus shots, really solid, seeing the puck well, But Troy Murray talked about it during the game, how him kind of getting out of the net and stopping those ring around passes from Columbus behind the net, it just gets the Hawks possession again. And it's almost like having another half defenseman out there when, the other team dumps it in. Stalock goes behind the goal, picks it off and starts moving it the other way. In fact, that Taylor Raddysh goal, he didn't get an assist, but his pass started that entire rush.
Mm-hmm.
So not only is he solid in that, and I think, look, the reality of this thing is he's their best goalie right now on the roster. You can't give Peter Mrazek the bulk of the starts, because why would you? What's it based on? Salary?
Yeah.
Experience? No. Stalock is the better goalie right now, and I want to see him, assuming both those guys are healthy. That's a big assumption, knocking on wood here. I want to see Stalock get the bulk of starts, but he just came in after almost 2 months without playing and just looked like he hadn't missed a beat. And maybe it's a great opponent for him to start against, which is true. But, man, he was solid as hell and getting in the face of Blue Jackets. And, as much as I think, we kind of can roll our eyes at that sort of stuff, that stuff matters to the team, right? Everyone talks about Stalock's impact in the locker room and his personality and his infectious nature. And look, it makes the team stronger when a personality like that is back and showing you that he's all in, going after big Columbus players, talking shit, like after the whistle. It's great, man. I thought Stalock was awesome in all aspects of this one. And you didn't see him, you saw him leave the net, but you didn't see the crazy, like he's on the boards and the puck's in front of the net sort of things we saw earlier.
Yeah, it wasn't the full Alex Stalock experience tonight, but it was a good dip in the toe back in the waters. Yeah, I really liked seeing him back have a good performance in net. With concussions, it's tricky. So it was nice to see that it seemed like his conditioning was up to par. He seemed like he was energetic enough, confident enough to, get in the face of some Blue Jackets players, which was, you don't see that often from goalies, but Stalock is a guy that likes to mix it up. And I think having him around the team is fantastic on and off the ice. As good as Arvid Soderblom was playing in his starts, the goal for him this season is to get experience in Rockford. And I think having Alex Stalock back is good for Arvid Soderblom. And it's good for the Blackhawks because it's a guy that you can have available that is a positive influence when you go through tough stretches. I don't want to say that, a goalie in the locker room makes a huge difference in morale, but I think it makes an impactful difference. And as they were going through these tough stretches over the last, almost, like you said, almost 2 months, not having a guy like Stalock be a voice in the locker room probably had an impact on how the team was handling some of these losses and trying to do things to keep the mood light. And I think Alex Stalock is a guy that's good at doing that. His teammates everywhere rave about him. So, I mean, there is an impact he has off the ice. And then, yeah, on the ice, I think he looked strong. And you're not wrong. He is definitely, now that Soderblom is back in Rockford, Stalock is back to being the best goaltender that they have. So I think having him have this kind of game going into the break kind of just gives him that extra little bit of time to, have a little bit more of a recovery period between games. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts the next game once the Blackhawks get back to playing and head out on the road.
No Roy's Just Rage, our buddy who's in every show, is having a bit of a freak out. He says, I'm worried having Stalock back is not going to end well for the Tank. And earlier he said he's afraid the Hawks are going to get hot. No.
Breathe.
Don't worry. It's going to be okay.
Breathe, friend. You'll be just fine.
Yeah, this team is what they are. Columbus is really bad. They lost 5 in a row coming into this one. I think it was Troy, or was it Colby Cohen who said that Patrick Laine is like completely checked out in this game?
Yeah, Colby was doing some bench scouting and basically was like, these guys are on the bus. They want to get the F out of Chicago. Paraphrasing there. But yeah, I mean, this is surprising to see the kind of effort that Columbus put out. You were in town ahead of time, ahead of the storm. So you were able to, get comfortable in being on the road, being in the city. You had extra practice time, and to just come out and lay the stinker that they did in the first half of the game. And by, the broadcast's estimations, look disinterested, and look like you were looking for the exit. Like, oof, like that's a rough look against a Blackhawks team that is, even with the win, still dead last in the NHL. That's a rough effort, and T's and P's to the Blue Jackets the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's they're dealing with a ton of injuries, but yeah, that was just I mean, look, they got to be looking at that as an opportunity too, to say, let's hit this break feeling good.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, to be outshot, I can talk. Falling into a place where you're outshot by the Hawks by double digits, that's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
That is a difficult task for any team to get outshot by the Blackhawks that significantly. So yeah, bad for them. The other guy I wanted to talk about was Isaac Phillips, who went after Kuraly after the hit on Toews, which I thought was a hard hit, a clean hit. But anytime a captain is hit into the boards and goes down hard, there's going to be a response. And Isaac Phillips was the first guy in there. And when you talk about young guys sort of buying into the culture, A, and B, earning the trust and respect of their teammates, whether or not these things translate to wins or points or whatever, you can argue that till the cows come home. But I will tell you that teammates notice and teammates care when they get stood up for. And for Isaac Phillips to jump in and his second game up with the team and go after him right away, I think that's huge. That's huge. And I think him and Mitchell had pretty solid games tonight too. It's two pretty decent games in a row for Ian Mitchell, and it's starting to look comfortable on the power play too.
Yeah, it was a good effort for him. Good to see him get on the score sheet with an assist for Mitchell, and yeah, for Isaac Phillips to come in and make an impact. He doesn't know the amount of opportunity he's exactly going to get with this Blackhawks team this season. He's obviously earned the right to be up now, stepping in for Jared Tenorti, who's going to be out for a while, and he's filling the role that Tenorti is leaving, and Phillips has that edge to his game, even if he might have a bit more of a offensive game or offensive skill set than Tenorti has, but he has that physical edge that he can bring to the table, and it was good to see him have an opportunity to bring that out, stepping in for Toews after he took that hit. Look, it goes both ways for me. You do not have to fight after every clean hit just because it was a big hit. Yep. I think Kuraly went right through Toews' chest, and it was a big impact. It is, but I don't think you have to fight after every clean hit. And it's good in the sense of you stepping up for teammates, having each other's back. That's fantastic. I just think the less Jonathan Toews, who has had concussion issues, who is likely going to go onto the trade block this season, the less he can take unnecessary shots to the head, the better. So seeing him getting into scrums like that always gets me a little itchy, but for Phillips, hey, it's good for him to get in there, mix it up, and good for him to take that opportunity in this limited chance he's going to get in the NHL this season. He might be sent down and come back later this year. So it's good for him to show that he can be trusted to step in and be a guy who's going to be out there for the team later this season when a couple of these guys are still around after the trade deadline, and he'll likely be up.
Yeah, I'm with you on the fighting after every legal hit. But I feel like at this point, I'm just sort of shouting it into the ether because it's not going to change. I think a big part of it is the fact that the instigator penalty exists. So you can't go, drop the gloves later and get your air quotes revenge. It kind of has to be settled in the moment the way things are designed. I don't like it. I don't like that you have to fight after every big hit you make. especially when they're clean. But it's just the way the game's going now, and like I said, it does matter to the guys on that team to see that sort of a response. Young Dangle God in the chat says, thoughts on the hits today? I think the Kachuk hit and the Corrali hit on Toews were both clean, but unnecessary and cheap. The Kachuk thing,
I don't know what he was doing tonight.
yeah, it was weird. Like I'm sure. Look, we're watching on TV, so there's stuff we're not seeing that we'd see if we were at the arena. Like for instance, when he came out of the box and started fighting again, I didn't see the cross check that was put on Connor Murphy until I saw the replay.
Right, was behind the
It was
play.
like, what the hell are you doing? You're just coming out and fighting people. But yeah, just the fact that he didn't get an extra penalty for going after Laine after that hit was bizarre. And then they got, after he came out of the box, that the Hawks got the power play there was very, very strange. It's fine with me, but it just the whole sequence was weird. And I don't like if this is Boris Kachuk's way to stay in the lineup. Some clock and situational awareness might be something he wants to look into. You know what I mean? Like you're up,
Yeah.
but Columbus is starting to get some momentum. Just get the win and go home, man. Like if you really want to get your revenge on a hit, something we didn't see in the game, or if it was Corrali against Toews, you want to get revenge on, fine. Take a number. You play him again next week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just you got to be situationally aware. And for me to even have the opportunity to get Columbus some power play opportunities, it's just dumb and it's just bad timing. And I did not like it. Everything worked out great, but I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking in that moment.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe the direction to him from the coaching staff might have been, hey, we want you to pick up your physical game, and he took that as, if I want to stay in the lineup, I need to lay out some people tonight. I need to maybe get in a tussle or two. But yeah, I agree. In a game that you're winning, you don't need to be going out there giving the Blue Jackets power play opportunities. So yeah, I think again, it's to the point of, you want to stand up for teammates. That's fine. That's a good thing. But again, knowing the score, knowing the way that the Blue Jackets were climbing their way back into the game was through their power play opportunities. You just need to be a little bit smarter than that. And you can be physical in other ways that don't have to be after the play, after the whistle, after the, behind the play, anything like that. You don't need to go out there and be out of position, play selfishly because you're trying to, add a hit or get in a guy's face to instigate a fight. You don't have to be doing that when you're winning the game.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, we got Greg Boysen standing by. Before we get to him, we got to assign our DraftKings king of the game. And was there any doubt? It is good old number 88, Patrick Kane. A goal, 2 assists, 7 shots on goal, 20-25 of ice time. That 5th goal of the season took a long time. A nice little touch there with the king of the game, Stephen, with the crown and the Santa hat. Patrick Kane.
Patrick Candy Kane.
He was great. He's been great the last little bit, and it's really good to see him get rewarded with a goal. And hopefully this sort of opens up the floodgates for him and he can start scoring at the pace we're used to. So Patrick Kane is our DraftKings king of the game. And we want to remind you, hockey fans, that you should just do what I do when I tweet it out, because today I guaranteed earlier this week a Hawks win, right? Did I not, Mario?
You sure did.
3-4 days ago. And then I also parlayed that, one of those same game parlays on DraftKings Sportsbook, with a Patrick Kane goal. So I am the big winner. Light the lamp this winter with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers, get this. You can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. But those same game parlays, that's where I love it. You can bet $1, $2, $3 for a decent payout if those parlays hit. What I like to do is load up my account before the season begins and just kind of, I set myself like, all right, I'm going to put this much in and this will be my money for, the calendar year. And then just kind of see how it goes, see how it ebbs and flows. And those same game parlays are a great way to win a lot of money with a very small investment. Like I did today, multiple bets, who will win, how many goals will be scored, who will score the goals, all those sort of things. That's how you have your shot at an even bigger payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code CHGO. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
With all that money you're winning on DraftKings, you can definitely go out and get some tickets through the Game Time app to any different show or event or game that you would ever go to or want to go to. Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier to score the best deals on tickets to sporting events, concerts, and shows. Everything you've ever dreamed of, including sitting on the 50-yard line. Never thought you could do that? With Game Time, they make it possible. It's the biggest last-minute price drops that can be found on the seats you thought you never could buy. You're never going to find a better deal than on Game Time on Blackhawks tickets this season. If you wanted to go out and brave the frigid colds tonight, $12 got you a seat in the United Center. And you know what? Kudos to the crowd tonight. I was expecting maybe a few thousand. It was pretty decently attended tonight. So good on you. I'm sure we got a couple people in the building tonight taking advantage of the Game Time tickets.
Official attendance 17,108. I'm sure it wasn't that many. That's probably tickets sold. Sure. But still a decent crowd.
Yeah, good crowd to see a win. You were never going to find a better seat this season on Game Time. Always use the link in the description below in the show to get your Game Time tickets. That's really going to help us out, because if you love CHGO, you're going to love Game Time. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats to all of your favorite events.
All right, let's go out to the United Center and welcome our friend Greg Boysen, who braved the cold weather to bring you this Blackhawks win. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for bringing home a win for us.
My pleasure. That was fun. It was pretty easy to do, too. I don't know if I really love my job or if I'm just half nuts, or maybe it's a little bit of both. But, if it wasn't for the wind, it wouldn't be that bad out there. But walking through that parking lot with nothing to block that wind, I'm not looking forward to doing that. But at least we've got a win to talk about. And as Mario, you mentioned it, the crowd, much bigger than I expected, not much smaller than what we usually have been getting here. And they got entertained with, provided a pretty entertaining game. The first 10 minutes or so was rather, it took 6.5 minutes for either team to get a shot. It took the Hawks like 8 minutes to get a shot. But then after that, it was, pretty wide open for about 8.5 minutes. So I was like, I went out in the cold for this. What's going on here? But good for the Blackhawks. Good for those fans that braved this cold. I said that everybody should have got a free hot dog or something for coming out. But good for this team. Tank standings doesn't matter on a night like tonight. A guy like Patrick Kane getting his goal. He deserved a couple the other night. Got it tonight. Seeing Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane combined for some goals, 300 now that they've combined for. You don't know how many more chances you're going to get to see that. So it's a special night. And there was actually some interesting comments from Toews after the game, who was smiling a lot, which again is nice to see. You don't see that very often these days. And he was asked, with everything going on, do you kind of savor these moments with you and Kane having success together a little bit more? And he said, everybody's talking about our future and you can't help but listen to it. And you never know how long you get a chance to play for this team or play with Patrick Kane. So yeah, you do appreciate it a little bit more. So, that's the first time either one of those guys have really kind of said, yeah, we might not be playing together much longer. So a little interesting there.
Interesting.
But the theme of the night was Alex Stalock. And, we talked to him briefly after the game. He kind of took responsibility for that Toews hit that started all the physical play, saying that it was a bad pass, and he kind of left because of the pass. He left Johnny in a vulnerable situation. But then Toews said he feels bad because he exposed himself to the hit, and then everybody else has now got to get involved in something that he caused. So depends on who you want to listen to. But both Kane and Toews and Luke Richardson just couldn't have been happier for Alex Stalock. Everybody says that he's a huge part of this locker room. He provides an energy. He provides a looseness to this team that they miss when he's not there. And if we have a look into the future, Luke Richardson wants to have a goalie here that can move the puck. Because he talked about it this morning at morning skate, and he mentioned it after the game, saying how much he appreciates how Alex Stalock can get the puck up the ice quickly, and it gives them an advantage. So going forward, I think Luke Richardson, if I'm Drew Comesso, I start working on my stick handling this summer, because that's going to get you in the good graces of Luke Richardson.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because Troy Murray mentioned it, how it helps the defense, and I know it seems obvious when it's working, right? But we saw there were a few times this year where it was a bit of an adventure with Stalock, where you felt like he was making more headaches for his defensemen than helping. But we were talking earlier, and those ring around passes, those dump ins, he cuts those off, and the Hawks get possession again. Like that's a huge thing, because we've seen the Hawks have trouble when their opponent dumps the puck in, retrieving it. So if you've got the goalie sort of squashing it before it even begins, if he's a confident enough skater and stick handler, which Stalock clearly is, that's going to help out everybody. And he got things moving on that Raddysh goal. And it's great to see him back. And especially just like from a personal standpoint of a concussion that bad, where you feel like you're close and then you have a setback, and you feel like you're close, then you have a setback, and then you're not sure, it's unsure. We're going to see how I feel. And he's finally back enough. And looked like he was ready to drop the gloves tonight too, if called upon. So he must be feeling better. But yeah, just going through that level of an injury is tough. So couldn't be happier for Stalock, who just seems like a wonderful guy. I don't know I think he wore the I didn't get a good look at it today. I think he wore the Nope helmet today, but we talked to him earlier this week, and he's got a new baseball themed helmet with Harry Carey on it and some baseballs on it. We did a little video for that's going to be posted on social media one of these days, and we'll share that. But yeah, just really happy for Stalock, who has really battled and persevered through not just a concussion, but last year with myocarditis after getting COVID. Like, just it's been a tough run for him. So great to see him still in good spirits and back, and quite frankly, playing a hell of a game in net today.
Yeah, he was very good. And walking from the locker room to the press lounge to wait for Luke Richardson, we saw Alex in the hallway with his kids. He had his two young kids with him, both wearing their Chicago Blackhawks pajamas, and I was so jealous that they can come to a Blackhawks game in pajamas. I was like, maybe next game, New Year's Day, I'm going to show up in my PJs and see if they kick me out.
I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, just wear them under your jacket and stuff, and you'll.
Well, I've got an extra layer on under everything tonight. Like, it's so cold out there. I don't even have a Roosevelt on. I put a flannel on tonight.
Whoa.
That's how cold. Yeah, that's how cold it is out there.
Oh man,
those are thin. Those are thin shirts. It needs to be above freezing to wear those.
The only little weirdness about this game, aside from the Hawks winning, is what is Boris Kachuk doing? Did Luke have anything to say about Boris Kachuk with rabies? Like, what's going on?
Not really. Luke's press conference was pretty quick.
Yeah.
There's really not much you can, ask after these types of games. More like, hey, it feels good, right? Yeah, cool. All right, we'll see you later. Alex Stalock mentioned Kachuk saying that you appreciate when guys stand up for your teammates, and I guess that was about the second altercation. I mean, I was watching Murphy and Corrali go behind the play, what caused all that, and they kind of cross-checked each other, and Murphy went to skate away, and when he turned around, Corrali got him square in the back from the blind side. And then that's right as Kachuk was coming out of the box for his first dumbass penalty. That boarding penalty was just stupid.
Well, he frankly should have gotten more, because he went after Line after that.
Right.
I guess I didn't do anything.
He galaxy brained it right there. I mean, you're up 4-2. Columbus, after the Columbus made the goaltending change and they went to Korpisalo, they were the better team.
Oh yeah.
They dominated the second half of that second period. When they scored that goal early in the third, it was like, uh-oh, they've got all the momentum, and here comes Boris Kachuk taking a dumb penalty on a penalty kill. the hit was unnecessary. Whether it was the right call, but even if it wasn't, a boarding play, you don't make the hit there. It's unnecessary. Let the guy, you got to let the guy go get the puck, and then maybe impede him coming. You don't hit him on the way to the puck. You're just no awareness. So I mean, the second penalty when he got in the fight with Corrali, I don't have a problem with that because he was defending Murphy, and then he was Corrali was the guy that hit Toews earlier, so there was a little there. And then at the end of the game, Gabranson just had enough of his crap and just said, you know what, I'm going to punch you until they kick us both out of the game. And that's pretty much what he did. And, I don't know if that's the way that you stay in the lineup. I mean, Luke Richardson wasn't asked about it. And, some people said he looked really pissed after the second dust up right after he got out of the box, but that was probably more just about overall the situation that he's watching Connor Murphy get hit from behind more than Tkachuk getting another penalty. But, for a guy that doesn't offer a whole lot when he's in the lineup, to take dumb penalties while your team is up 4-2, not a way to endear yourself and stay, especially when you got a guy like Reese Johnson who can do the same thing without taking the meat-headed penalties.
Yep. There's no doubt about
But
that.
thankfully, the Blue Jackets, after that, couldn't stay out of the penalty box. So they proved why they are in the Connor Bedard running tonight. They are a lousy hockey team. But in their defense, they've got a lot of guys missing that can make them a lot better. Guys like Jacob Voracek, their captain and leading goal scorer, Boone Jenner's out. So they may improve if they get guys back, but it should be fun. That New Year's Eve game might be a little spicy after what we saw tonight. These guys don't have very much long. They don't have to wait very long to get another crack at each other. So we'll see what happens on that New Year's Eve afternoon special.
Yeah, I mean we've seen some physical games between the Blackhawks and Rangers this year turn into a bit of a mini rivalry this season. I wonder if that's going to happen now with Columbus here.
Yeah, why not? I mean, they used to be in the same division and nobody cared. So why not have a rivalry now?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's good to it's good to see them get a win. It's good to see the mood be relatively positive, even if Tkachuk was doing some dumb stuff. I think what's good for this Blackhawks team is getting some wins. Greg, tonight in our chat we have a poll about being happy after a win over a team that is also tanking. I think the majority of people agree with Jay and I, at least, that getting this win tonight is important, even though you're still factoring in for the tank season. You need wins like this. Is where do you land on that?
Oh no, I'm not upset that they won tonight in the least. This doesn't affect the tank standings. Big picture, no. They need the losers of 8 in a row. They haven't won at the United Center since November 3rd when they beat the Kings. That was the first game without Alex Stalock. That was the last win. So you're talking almost 2 months since they won in this building. This team needed it. Like they proved it tonight by how they kept sticking up for one another. This is the definition of a team. They stick up for each other. They play hard. They deserve this win. You can't be upset. We're lucky. We get to be around this team on a daily basis. We get to see them interact off the ice. So it's hard. You can't be upset when they finally get a night where everything goes their way and they get a big win, especially when Patrick Kane can kind of take a monkey off his back with a big offensive night.
Yeah, it's for me. It's nothing but positives. I think also the timing of it, with heading into the Christmas break, these guys need a bit of a morale boost, and I think this is the perfect kind of game to give them that. Like, not only was it a win, it's Kane scoring, it's Stalock returning, it's Kane and Toews with 3 points each. It's everything you kind of wanted to cross off the list before hitting the break. They were able to do it in the course of one night. So it's great. Once again,
hitting on a one-timer. Max Domi hitting a one-timer, which he missed like all the time last game. So
Yes.
yeah, it's lots of positives heading into Christmas. It's a freaking cold night. Let the boys win.
And speaking of Max Domi, I think we've been negligent to not mention him in this one. Really solid game for him. I thought he was terrific. Really moving the puck with confidence. We've seen it the last few games. Really crisp on the tape passes, through traffic, east to west across the offensive zone. He was great. That tic-tac-toe goal that ended up in a Toews goal was beautiful. I think he's played really well, and he's kind of gotten to the point where we don't talk about him much anymore because he's been sort of dependable. There was that span where he was not shooting the puck and was passing up scoring opportunities to defer to Patrick Kane, but he seemed to have kind of shaken that free a little bit. And no, he's not Alex DeBrincat. No, he's not Artemi Panarin, but the compete level from him is there. And, I think he had a really terrific game tonight, and it's a guy we haven't mentioned yet, so I want to make sure we do.
Yeah, I think that those couple games away from Patrick Kane helped him a lot. It helped him get his shoot first mentality back, and it's carried over to since returning with Patrick Kane. So I think that 2 or 3 game break, whatever it was, where Toews went to center Patrick Kane, that did a world of good for Max Domi. It got him to say, hey, I'm leading this team in goals. I should probably shoot more.
Yeah, in this game, a goal and assist. He was a +1, 4 shots on goal, 3 more shot attempts, and he won 5 and lost 6 faceoffs. So a rare under 50% night for Max Domi at the dot, but he was really good. And I think you're starting to see, that point is really smart in observing Greg, because getting away from Kane was the best thing for him. Because when you look at guys on the team, like the shots of the guys on the team, he's right up at the top. He's got that quick release. It's pretty accurate. And that's why I think we got so frustrated, because he refused to use probably his greatest weapon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's good to see. And it's driving his trade value up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that was the biggest frustration, is that when Domi was being the most effective, it was because he was shooting, because he was on the receiving end of some great Patrick Kane setups. And just unfortunately in that early part of the season, he was getting set up by Patrick Kane, and then he was like, oh well, I'll just give it right back to him because he must be open now too. And so now he's taking that opportunity to get shots on net. Got the goal tonight. I think there was a good bounce back, good bounce back performance for Domi after on Wednesday night, being part of the frustration of Patrick Kane setting up all his teammates, and the teammates whiffing on a one-timer or snapping a stick on a shot. Domi was part of that. So tonight, to be able to get the goal, the 2-0 goal in the first period, and then be part of the setup for Jonathan Toews' power play goal, I think that's a huge bounce back performance from him from the last game, and it's just kind of adds to this little bit of momentum that he's been building here as we get to January and maybe trade time.
Yeah. Greg, did Luke have anything to say about the kids, Mitchell and Phillips, today?
No, not really. Again, not really asked. I know they didn't get as much playing time tonight as they did against Nashville, but that's because they actually had all 6 defensemen for the whole game. And there was a lot of special teams play, in the second half of the game, which is going to take time away from both of those guys. So I didn't notice either one of them much, which when you're a young defenseman, that's a good thing. That just means you're doing your job. So, I like the fact that they're playing. I hope to see them both keep playing. I don't know if for sure if Caleb Jones is been sitting out because of performance, or if his hip is bothering him again. He missed that one. He was at late scratch a couple of weeks ago because he had tweaked the hip muscle, and then he came back. And so I don't know if that's bothering him, or if it's strictly performance that's been keeping him out. But I'd like to see Mitchell and Phillips keep playing as we go beyond the Christmas break, but we'll see what happens. It's kind of a weird thing because the Hawks play Tuesday. That's their next game in Carolina, but because the NHL is just the smartest league in the history of professional sports league, nobody's allowed to travel on the 26th. So anybody playing on the road on the 27th is at a huge disadvantage. The Blackhawks are literally flying out at 6 in the morning on game day to get to Carolina and then maybe practice. They got to get on the ice. They can't go into a game with 3 straight days with no practice, with no ice time. So the league is mandated. There is no practice or anything over the next 3 days for Christmas, but you also can't travel to your destination. So that's going to be, they're already facing one of the best teams in the league on the road, and then you got to fly there in the morning. God, you better hope that you don't get a day like we had yesterday.
Yeah, they should book a flight for 12:01 a.m. Get there at 2:30 or 3, sleep in, and then get a late skate. And I mean, at least Carolina's going to be in the same boat. They don't have to travel, but they won't. They'll have their morning skate. Yeah, that sucks. I don't know what. Yeah,
it's a strange situation. So pretty much, you got to petition the league to be at home the day after Christmas because you have a real home ice advantage because you got to wake up and just get out of bed and go play hockey.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's get to our 4 stars of the game in this one here. 3 stars. Number 3, Alex Stalock. He made 27 saves on 29 shots. Welcome back, Alex Stalock. Jonathan Toews, your number 2 star. He had a goal and 2 assists. He won 18 and lost 7 faceoffs. That's good for 72%. He is absolutely killing it at the faceoff dot. And your number 1 star of the game, of course, Patrick Kane with a goal, 2 assists, 3 points, and 7 shots on goal. He was outstanding, as we've discussed. My 4 stars, a guy we just sort of talked about, Ian Mitchell. Not so much that there was a lot of great outstanding moments from him, but I think we're really starting to see him stabilize defensively and had a shot on goal, showing a little bit of confidence with the puck movement on the power play. Look, I don't know what that kid's future is in this organization or on this team, but I want to find out. Right? Like you said, Greg, you want to see him. You want to see Mitchell continue to play, or Phillips continue to play. I totally agree because you want to find out what you got here in Ian Mitchell. So I thought it's been a nice stretch of games, probably 2-3 in a row here for Ian Mitchell, where he's certainly looked better than his first handful of games. And I really like he's a real heads-up skater and passer, which I appreciate from a young guy. Real, almost looks like he's looking up. He's consciously skating with his head up. To see the whole ice and moves the puck well. So, yeah, I give it to Ian Mitchell because I think the other 3 are pretty obvious in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Andreas Athanasiou. His goal ends up being the game-winning goal. He gave him a 3-0 lead in the second period, and that ends up being the difference in the game. Real effective game. Had 3 shots on goal, another 5 total shot attempts, used his speed. I really like that line that Luke Richardson has put him on with Jason Dickinson and Sam Lafferty. Even though Dickinson had some trouble staying out of the penalty box tonight, not his best game in the world, but I see what he's trying to do there because you've got Athanasiou, the fastest guy on your team, but you're putting him with 2 big guys that can kind of sort of keep up with him and create a lot of space. Lafferty and Dickinson are creating space for Athanasiou. We saw that tonight. Plenty of space when he scored his goal. So I'm going to give it to Athanasiou, taking advantage of a situation that might be a positive one for him. I think that combination is going to stay together for a few games, and it kind of balances it out a little bit, where now you got an actual scoring threat in the bottom 6 as opposed to everybody, all those guys hanging out in the top 6.
Yep.
Yeah, I liked Athanasiou's game tonight. I really think he was due to finally bury some chances, so it was good to see him get his goal. I'm going to go my 4th star with the guy that we were just talking about, Max Domi. For all the reasons that we mentioned, my biggest one was just being able to come back and bury an opportunity that was set up by Patrick Kane. Once he scored that goal, that was the tipping point. If he didn't go off and have a hat trick or something and end up being one of the 3 stars tonight, I wanted to give Max Domi some credit for that. So he went out, had a great game. And I don't make these selections based off of game score. I just use it as I do, partially eye test, partially analytics, the way it should be. But our friends with the blue line charts, This might be the most dominant Blackhawks game analytically that they play all season based on game score. Only one Blackhawks player was under even based on game score. They were a negative 0.07, even as being 0, a negative 0.07. It was Mackenzie Entwistle. Poor guy. Everyone else was positive tonight. Basically, when we say the Blackhawks have to play their best to get a win, that's what we were able to see tonight. It wasn't the best 60-minute effort. They played the best when it counted, but it was great to see that analytically this was one of the best games that they've played, and Max Domi had a big hand to play in that.
No doubt. All right, Greg, you want to stick around for the tank standings?
I'm going to go out in the Arctic frigid cold, but I did see our buddies in Arizona pull off a win, and maybe the Ducks can win too. And then it all comes out even in the wash. Nobody's got to worry about it. So I'm going to bundle up. It's going to take me 10 minutes to put all my layers back on and head home. But before I go, wish both of you guys a Merry Christmas. We won't see each other again until Tuesday. And then whatever holidays all of our loyal listeners are celebrating over the next few days, I hope they're great and safe. And we'll see you guys back on Tuesday.
Yep. See you next Tuesday.
Absolutely. Same to
you. All right,
you.
boys. Have a good night.
Take care. Yes. Appreciate that. All right. We're going to get to the tank standings here in a bit. But first, Mario's going to tell you about pins and aces. I'm going to tell you about Shady Rays. And just letting you know, looking at the chat right now, we've got 45 likes. I need 10 more likes for an extra spin.
Ooh.
Right? So we get the 55 likes and an extra spin at the tank standings. Let's go. It's Christmas. Give us YouTube.
And as it turns out, we need those extra spins on most nights to get the favorable results. But yeah, go out there, give us a like. We'll have some fun with the with the Tank-a-thon. Yeah, it's freaking freezing out there. But you know what makes me feel all warm and nice is thinking about being out on the nice, sunny, warm golf course. And no better way to be out there on the nice, sunny, warm golf course than by wearing your best Pins and Aces gear from our friends at Pins and Aces, the official golf partner of CHGO and the presenting sponsor of the Big Drive Energy Golf Podcast on the All City Network. Pins and Aces, they make some of the best golf gear around. They make amazing polos, hats, golf bags that can be customizable, and of course, the beer sleeve, the product that goes right into your bag and can store up to 7 of your favorite beers right there in your bag. Keep them cold the entire round. Just a product that all golfers should have out there on the golf course. Just as important as a good 3-wood is the good beer sleeve. So check out pinsandaces.com. Use the code CHGO. When you do that, you're going to receive 15% off of your first order, and you're going to get free shipping on that order as well. Again, that's the promo code CHGO when you go to pinsandaces.com. And
we're going to tell you about our friends at Shady Rays. When that snow is out there and it's whipping and it's blowing and it's blinding you, you're going to want a nice quality pair of shades, and you're not going to find a nicer pair for the money than Shady Rays. They never understood why sunglasses were so freaking expensive, so they set out to change that. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses this winter because our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. Their premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. The best part about Shady Rays, they have the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they told us they'll send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Dropped on a frozen lake, off a cliff, did Boris Kachuk try to fight you for no reason? Whatever happened to your Shady Rays, they will replace them. Even with that strong of a protection program, they still managed to make quality that I can tell you from holding in my hand seems just as good as any expensive pair that I have ever worn. Shady Rays customers seem to agree with over 200,000 5-star reviews. That's over a million stars. And the best part, you're talking about the season of giving, right? We're talking about Christmas. We're talking about Hanukkah. We're talking about everything. Shady Rays also provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed, and have donated over 20 million meals to date. They stand behind their product and told our team that if anyone has a problem, they'll throw profit out the window and do what it takes to get it right. Free returns and exchanges. You'll either love the shades or Shady Rays will pay to ship them back. That's it. That is risk-free, my friends. Exclusively for our listeners, they're running their deepest deal of the season. Use the code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. That's buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for as low as $54. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all the newest and best shades. All right, it's that time. I'm checking the likes. I see 53, but I don't know if that's accurate. I'm going to reload the YouTube here and make sure we've gotten to our 55 level. But first, let's update the tank standings before we spin the magical wheel. All right, the Hawks still on top of the tank standings with 20 points in 32 games. They are 8-20-4 with tonight's 5-2 win over the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Anaheim Ducks, 21 points in 34 games. They're 9-22-3. Columbus, 22 points in 33 games. They're 10-21-2. Arizona picks up the shootout win over the LA Kings tonight. So they are now 4th in the tank standings with 27 points in 32 games. They're 11-16-5. And the San Jose Sharks right there, 28 points in 35 games, 11-18-6. All right, we made it. We got 57 likes. That means we're going to take 3 spins at the Tank-a-thon wheel because it's Christmas and I'm feeling generous. So I'm going to do a bonus one anyway. And if somehow, some way, we get up to 65 likes, we're at 57 right now, according to my app. If we get up to 65, we'll do a 4 spin. All right? So, Steven, do the honors. We're at tankathon.com looking at the draft lottery simulator. We are going to spin that wheel right now.
Okay. I hate it here.
We're just going to skip this one. Columbus, San Jose, Anaheim, Chicago. No, we won't be doing that. Nope. Next.
Awful.
All right, let's go here. Here we go.
Ugh.
Anaheim, Arizona, Chicago, Columbus. So the Hawks get the 3rd pick. All right.
This sucks.
One more.
I hate that. We won tonight. Why can't we be happy?
And on a sour note. There we
go.
The Hawks win the Tank-a-thon on the 3rd spin. Chicago, Anaheim, Columbus, San Jose, Philly. Anaheim moves down because on Tank-a-thon right now, Anaheim is the lowest number because of win percentage.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there you go. On the 3rd spin, the Hawks. Do we get an extra spin, Steven? Did we reach our number? It doesn't.
All right, let me check. Let me check live right now. We are at 61 likes.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bank it.
Yeah,
we're gonna bank the extra spin for the next show because we're not ending on a not number 1 pick for the Hawks. So there you go.
Yeah.
Mike says, "Why are the Ducks at default first? They have the lowest winning percentage. The points percentage is the lowest for the Ducks. So that's why. That's why they're the right now on Tank-a-thon. They're number 1. So,
well, that's a great way to end. That is a great way to end.
I agree.
We get the win, and we get the Tank-a-thon win. And a good reminder here from our friend Mr. Sammy 331. What's the CHGO code give you for DraftKings? It is if you go to DraftKings, you sign up, you use the promo code CHGO. If you bet $5 on any NHL team to win a game, and they do, you get $150 in free bets right there into your account. So if you aren't on DraftKings yet and you want to be, and you want to support us at CHGO, sign up for DraftKings, use the promo code CHGO, and bet on any NHL team. I'm not going to say it has to be the Blackhawks. If you want those $150 in free bets, maybe choose a different team. But hey, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money.
Remember, Hawks flying into Columbus Tuesday morning and playing a game that night after 4 days of no practice. So you might want to look into the Hurricanes on that one. All right, let's wrap things up. We want to thank everybody for being with us. We hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and whatever you're celebrating, however you're celebrating, do it safely. I know, too, that this time of year can be tough for people. A lot of people feeling alone. A lot of people get some bad memories. So take care of your mentals, as Marshawn Lynch would say. And if you need help, reach out. And just be safe. Make it as happy as you can. And either way, we all appreciate you being here with us on a freezing Friday night. It is a great night with the Hawks win. Hawks win the Tank-a-thon simulation and all's well. So we'll talk to you Tuesday night. Oh, Mario's
and for the World Juniors opening night of the 26th. I believe Canada is playing on opening night. That's the big team for Hawks fans to pay attention to. If you don't know why, I will tell you to go and listen to yesterday's episode of the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. We talked with Flow Hockey's Chris Peters about the Blackhawks prospects that are going to be at the World Juniors and some draft eligible names to be looking out for Blackhawks fans to keep an eye on. Also included in that is Adam Fantilli and Connor Bedard. Big surprise, but Canada will get the tournament started on the 26th. Going to be a lot of fun watching that as well.
No doubt. And diehards, we're going to be active in the chat on Discord during the World Junior Championships. So I'm going to try to be there on the 26th and hang out and watch the game and chat with people while it's going on. I'm sure Mario and Greg will check in as well because we're going to be locked and loaded on that tournament. You want to become a diehard? allchgo.com is the place to go. Gift subscriptions are available. So if you're looking for that last minute gift, you're not going to be able to get out to the store tomorrow. You got a Chicago sports fan in your life. Get them that CHGO diehard membership. It is a perfect price for a really nice Christmas gift that knocks it out of the park. You get a free shirt or hat on sign up. You get a free shirt or hat every year upon renewal. Discounts on all of our merch, discounts on all of our events. Remember, next month we've got our Blackhawks United Center takeover coming up. So time to jump on that diehard membership.
Guys, do you want the results of our poll?
Yes.
Let's do that.
All right, so the question, are you happy with a win versus a tanking opponent? Yes was the overwhelming winner here with 78% of the vote.
Good.
Everyone's happy. We're happy we won.
That's right. And the Coyotes winning in the shootout cushions that pain a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, all positive. We love you all. Thanks for being there with us. And we'll talk to you Tuesday after Hawks and Hurricanes on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.